So the other day I had the opportunity to install some of this new SRAM AXS Red components on an older bike. Had the Shimano mostly 7800, had a 7900 rear derailleur, like it had SRM 7800 modified crank power meter, the old 7800 shifters and everything. So customer just wanted to go with get the latest component package there. The one issue was it had a 10-speed free hub body, old Easton wheel set there, so we'll address that in a minute. But this is kind of how it comes in the little package there. The cranks came separately, but they're pretty similar to the old eTap Red. There's a few little changes there, definitely some cosmetic changes, so has a pretty sweet look. Still got the little plug-ins there if you want to add the little satellite shifters or the blips or whatnot. Batteries are virtually look the same, but the actual rear derailleur is quite a bit different. I think the pulleys are a little bigger, and then it's got a little kind of a damper there. It's not like a clutch mechanism, so it's super light action when you're shifting, but then when it hits bumps and things, it works really well. So the overall action of it, once I had it and rode it around, felt pretty good. Front derailleur looks more or less the same. It's got some kind of little wings there that go past the battery. I don't know, maybe gives a little more aero look there, but I'm sure there's a few other design changes, but it more or less felt setup wise similar to the old eTap version. Yeah, it's I don't know, fairly easy to set up, kind of like the old yaw derailleurs where it's got the lines and you just line it up with the big chain ring there when you get it set up. The brakes, I saw that they were redesigned some, but initially they look like the original Red brakes from, I don't know, 2013, 2014, something like that, whenever that stuff first came out. But still a great brake. And this one we went with the little blips there, a little extra satellite shifter. And the cassette's probably one of the bigger changes. 12 speed now. Uses what they call the XDR free hub style. So that's something that's not going to just bolt right onto any bike. You have to have that specific XDR free hub body there. And the crank, it's a newer Quarq crank. This is the Red version, which it's all basically one piece. So kind of you got to commit to whatever size chain rings you want. That was the only thing that to me seemed like a little bit of a bummer, was that, if you want to switch different chain rings, you pretty much don't have an option. But when you wear them out, you can send the whole unit back to SRAM and they'll give you a credit for the power meter and everything. I heard it was $500, and then you just get swapped out a brand new crank basically. And then we went ahead and put a Chris King, this is the XDR, their version of the free hub. I just laced that up into the existing back wheel there. The chain is vastly different. I don't know, I think it's a pretty cool looking chain. The only drawback is you do need a kind of a specific chain tool, or this one's not necessarily specific to the chain, but it was one that worked, a little feedback chain tool there. And so just working our new feel wood spoke machine there, cutting a few spokes. I'm going to do a little review on this machine here soon. This is when we first got it, so it wasn't even bolted down yet. So we've got a cool little spoke holder stand for it. But if you get everything the correct length, normally I'll just use my little tool there and thread them in till got the correct depth, and you got a pretty good starting point to just tension and true it from there. This is just bolting it in and getting the spokes where they're just a little tension. So got all the old parts there stripped off the bike, and wanted to highlight this. Somebody had asked a question about removing these press fit bottom brackets, or in this case it's a press fit Shimano style. a lot of times I'll use this little Shimano tool here that engages right into the bearing itself, and you just slip it in there and expand the tip there, and then just smack it out basically with the hammer. I'd already had it kind of started a little bit here, so basically just took one smack there to get it out the rest of the way. So that's what that one looked like. A lot of times there'll be a dust cover there in between. This particular one there wasn't. So that's our shell. And the SRAM one that we're going with here is the dub system. So it's a 20, I think it's 28.6 or 28.9 millimeter spindle diameter. The cup diameter there, I believe, is 41 millimeters. So these are some little dies there that we had made for us to press those in. I think you can buy these just over the counter now, just from different suppliers to press these cups in. But just use it with our little wheels manufacturing tool there, the little bearing press tool. So yeah, I don't know, I think with the flange there, they seem like they do a little better job than the old plastic cups there that, you know, on a lot of different bottom bracket sets, including SRAM. You know, their first generation of the Press Fit 30 just uses a resin or composite plastic cup there. So so far we've been using, I don't know, installed quite a few of these in the past year, and so far I haven't had any of the a lot of customer feedback of creaking issues and stuff like that, but we'll kind of see, you know, as time tells if these are an issue. But it seemed like a lot of the things that can cause the issue, like the little wavy washers and just excessive amount of movability between the spindle and bearings, and they've kind of done away with all that. It's definitely a pretty tight fit with the spindle into the bearings there, and then you've got the little there's a little adjuster there that I don't know, there's the little adjuster. But yeah, basically it looks similar to the BB30, but it is slightly smaller diameter. Torque that thing in at 54 Newton meters, which is pretty tight. Sometimes these are difficult to get out once you get them in there the first time, but yeah, you'll tighten it in from the drive side, and then once it's in there, you got that little adjuster there, which will take the place of any of the spacers or wavy washers, and you just take all the extra slack out with that thing, and then lock it down with that little 2mm Allen bolt there. So had our wheel. I didn't really get into a long wheel building video, but got the wheel built, and the XD driver, you got the little splines there on the back side. It's not like the Shimano ones where you have one big spline. You just put it anywhere, it'll go there. Once you slip it down, you just tighten up the lock ring is going to be basically, or the spline section there is just built in with the cassette. So you just tighten her down like you would a normal lock ring, although there's going to be basically more turns there. I don't know how many turns I got out of that, but it's probably 4 or 5 turns. Tighten it down just like you would a normal lock ring, around 40 Newton meters or so. And yeah, that's got it all set up here. I think I was waiting for the front derailleur battery to charge up at this point, but definitely has a unique look with the flat side of the top edge of the chain. That's a little B knuckle, or your B tension screw adjustment pulley to the biggest cog there. Then I've got the little blips there installed under the tape. He wanted to use his original tape there, so barely had enough room. That's a little battery charger. It'll be orange when it's charging. I tried to charge it from an external, just into my little wall mount thing, but it would only let you do it from the computer. The red light was coming on unless it was off on the computer, which I think is a little not quite as high a voltage. But yeah. Then one other little thing that was kind of, I didn't know that they had incorporated this, but you can't put it in you see the little red light blinking when you try to, if you're in the small ring, you try to go into the small cog, it won't let you, kind of like how Shimano locks out the last 2 cogs when you're in the small ring. So yeah, anyway, that's it. I really like the way it looks, and just out riding it, it definitely performed as faster and quieter than the previous SRAM Red eTap. So anyway, yeah, that's going to do it. Hopefully you found the video helpful or interesting. Please consider subscribing if you're not already a subscriber, and we'll see you guys next time.